Whether it's for a wedding, a birthday, or just an I'm thinking of you, Flowers by Jenny Lynn has the brightest hues for any occasion. Arrangements are made daily with this season's freshest flowers from all over the world. Jenny Lynn also carries unique gifts and gourmet jams, candies, and cookies. Serving the area for 25 years, Flowers by Jenny Lynn is your Fairless Hills florist. Stop by their beautiful shop to see for yourself at 100 Trenton Road in Fairless Hills, or call Jenny Lynn at 1-800-547-4551. That's 1-800-547-4551.
Buying, selling, or investing? Listen to Real Estate Radio with Peter and Vince, Friday mornings from 9 to 10 right here on 1490 WBCB. All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Tune in every Sunday at 11 a.m. for A Time in the Chapel, a service of Chapel Ministries on 1490 WBCB.
I'm on a mission to spread the word about COPD through music. COPD stands for Chronic Obstructive Pulmonary Disease. My grandfather suffered from symptoms of it, and COPD is the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S. I'm Billy Ray Cyrus, and I drive for COPD. Looks like people are starting to get the message. Anyone age 35 and older who has smoked as little as 100 cigarettes could be at risk. Visit driveforcopd.com today and talk to your doctor.
You know, I want to come out here and address a few things real quick. First, we have a new world heavyweight champion, Austin Aries. And Austin, I come out here as a man and I say congratulations. Now, people ask me, Storm, where's that leave you? And I said, well, hell, last I checked, I'm still in first place in the Bound for Glory series, and I'm on the fast track to the main event at Bound for Glory. But Bobby Roode, don't think I forgot about you. Because winning the World Heavyweight Championship is business. Because I want to carry this company on my back. You Bobby Roode, you're just personal. I just want to kick the living crap out of you. And now that brings me to these guys, aces and eights. Guys, let me tell you something. You run around like this is the Wild Wild West, but it's not. Because if it was, I'm pretty sure with the name Cowboy, I'd be the damn sheriff of this place. But you don't see a deputy star on me anywhere. But what I have that you don't is a set of balls, because I don't jump nobody from behind. And I want to send a quick shout out. Hogan, on a part of me and these people, I'm pretty sure we hope you get well soon. And now let's get on to a little business. Because I always heard, don't fight the cub, beat up the lion. And that's what I plan on doing. Because to me, the lion in this promotion, the measuring stick of wrestling, is only measured by one man. The greatest wrestler to ever step foot inside of a ring. That's why tonight on Open Fight Challenge, I call out none other than Kurt Angle.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Ferran Derry.
Sit down, shut up, and listen up.
James Storm certainly cementing himself in a few of the top storylines in TNA. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Do you think that James Storm is spreading himself a little too thin, considering that he's got the Bound for Glory series, he's got his personal feud with Bobby Roode, and now it looks like he's kind of incorporating himself into this mystery group of attackers, aces and eights, of course, referring to the dead man's hand. Well, it looks like they got themselves involved, at least indirectly, with Storm. As you heard at the end there, James Storm calling out Kurt Angle for the Open Fight Night Challenge. And aces and eights, well, they attacked Angle in the back, so that match didn't happen. Although there were some other Bound for Glory series matches that happened this past Thursday. Samoa Joe calling out the Pope, D'Angelo Dinero, and getting a submission win to earn 10 points. That bumps him up to 47. Christopher Daniels pinning Rob Van Dam to get 7 points. Robbie E. scoring a count-out victory over Jeff Hardy for 5 points. That finally gets him off the shutout count. Bully Ray pinning Magnus to get 7 points. That gets him on the board as well, as he had 0 prior to that. And Mr. Anderson pinning AJ Styles to pick up 7 more points. Here's your Bound for Glory series standings up to the moment. In last place, 12th place with 5 points, Robbie E. getting those 5 points from this past Thursday. A 3-way tie for 9th, Bully Ray, AJ Styles, and the Pope D'Angelo Dinero, each with 7. Christopher Daniels, he is sole possession of 8th place with 12 points. 14 points apiece for Rob Van Dam and Magnus, tie them at 6. Jeff Hardy in 5th place with 21 points, just behind Mr. Anderson with 23 in 4th place. In 3rd, you have Kurt Angle with 27, and then they're all kind of a distance to the two lead horses in the race, only 4 points apart from each other. Cowboy James Storm with 43, and Samoa Joe leading the pack with 47. And, of course, Joe taking that lead with that submission victory, which who knows what would have happened if James Storm actually had wrestled against Kurt Angle. Would Angle have been able to catch up and kind of make it a 3-person race, or would Storm have been able to get a victory and retake the lead over Samoa Joe? Although there's still ample time before we get to Bound for Glory in October. Here we are only in late July, so still a pretty good amount of time to watch the rest of the series develop. There might even be time for Robbie E. to catch up, but I think the Phillies might have a better chance of catching up to the Nationals in the NL East than Robbie E. getting to the top of the pack of the Bound for Glory series. So that's certainly a possibility, to say the least. Anyway, here we are. We're at 12:25. And that means it's time for our new summer segment here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. Of course, a look at the beach travel. If you're on the road heading to the beach, listen to the show here. Certainly appreciate it. And tell you the best way to get to the shore. Here's Captain Ken Fortna.
Yeah, southbound 413, you got some busy activity getting to the Burlington-Bristol Bridge and then trying to get off at 130, picking up 537, or if you're heading down Route 30, the busiest is in the area of the Tony Kalmyra Bridge as you make your way along Route 73. And again, on the south side of the 42 freeway, coming off the Walt Whitman Bridge, ongoing construction on the area has traffic snarled down to 55. And then the Atlantic City Expressway runs heavy around Hamilton at the Service Plaza as you make your way through Pleasantville or trying to pick up the Garden State Parkway, making your way to Avalon and Cape May. Also busy activity up at LB High and at the Scudder's Falls Bridge in New Jersey. Restrictions up on the Turnpike, and as a result, things are pretty well slow on the northbound go at 7A up to 8A. You got an event going on the Pennsylvania Turnpike in both directions, the Lebanon and Lancaster interchange. It's an accident taking up all lanes at number 266. That's at Route 72 at Lebanon and Lancaster, right out there at the Renaissance Fair. You're heading out to Hershey Park. Things are jammed up in both directions as a result of the accident. Also, things are jammed up in the area of the Harrisburg West interchange at number 242 as a result of emergency construction due to bridge deck replacement. The 309 Expressway between the Bethlehem Pike and Butler Pike has construction. Things pretty well backed up there if you're trying to get up to the Poconos along the northeast extension. Heavy activity also between the area 206 and 278 as you make your way past 13 and 206 on the New Jersey Turnpike. And mass transits aren't close to schedule. Do keep in mind you do an event, a couple of events actually going on in South Philadelphia this afternoon and this evening. You got the Phillies and the San Francisco Giants at 4:05, and then you got that Aerosmith and Cheap Trick concert down at 7 o'clock. So as a result, things are going to be pretty well slow in the area along 95 to and from the Philadelphia International Airport. Sesame Street comes to life at Sesame Place. Yep, through whirling rides, water slides, exciting shows, and endless giggles, you can celebrate being a kid or being a kid again at Sesame Place. Sesame Place. 1-866-GO for Elmo or SesamePlace.com. We got a family 4-pack for you. These are a $200 value. You want them? They're yours. All you got to do is sing me a Sesame Street song at 1-877-ROAD-TIP, 877-ROAD-TIP. First caller through to sing wins the family 4-pack for free. From the Traffic Tips Radio Network, Captain Ken, 1490 AM WBCB.
Thank you so much, Captain Ken. Before I get ready, not get ready here, but let you go here because I know you're always bouncing around. I know you followed wrestling here and there a little bit, and obviously with Monday Night Raw heading to episode 1000 this coming Monday. Do you have a favorite Raw moment over the last 19 plus years?
Oh man!
I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit.
Many that are memorable. You know, I really liked the John Cena event where he did win the case a few months back ago. You know, and I'm surprised to see that they're going to 3 hours on a Monday night now.
Yeah, starting this Monday, Raw is going to be 3 hours every Monday. Something we haven't seen since WCW Monday Nitro back in late '98 through early 2000.
I was going to say, and I really miss Andre the Giant, and but the Big Show is one of my favorite guys, and of course my wife likes John Cena, and my kid, the name has just slipped my mind. I get it wrong every time, but it's the Ireland guy.
Sheamus.
Red hair and the real white skin.
Yeah, that would be Sheamus. He's the current world champion. No problem.
Shamu, but that's
no.
SeaWorld.
No, so some would say King Kong Bundy looked like Shamu from back in the day, but...
Yeah, he's got me suckered into watching it every once in a while, but it's not like when we grew up, It's just, it's still fun. It's still entertaining. It's still great. I love the WWE because they do give us tickets and we get to go to the events and we get to invite a couple of our listeners, to come and take a limo ride with us and so forth and so on to go to several events. But, there are so memorable events that you could really look back and say, wow, just Vicky just irks me. I can't stand her.
Vicky Guerrero, yes. Like nails on a chalkboard, that voice.
That's the only thing I could say is, if there's one event I don't like, it's Vicky. When she comes anywhere within that stage, it's like, okay, I'm leaving the room. Here comes Vicky. And then what's-his-face got blown up in a car and survived that. There's just so many
Vince
things.
McMahon, that was, which, it's hard to say where that was going to go because then the whole thing with Chris Benoit happened that following week, and that just, that derailed everything.
Tell me about it. So, it's an interesting, it's just interesting, and it's fun.
You're right, though. So many memories. I mean, you're like I said, you're looking back at almost 20 years of Monday Night Raw. It's kind of hard to pinpoint one favorite moment, but you certainly knocked a few out there for us. Certainly appreciate it, Ken.
And I really like the guy in the yellow shorts, Hulk Hogan. I think still going down as number one in history if I'd have to pick anyone next to Cena.
And certainly a lot of people would agree with you on that. I know Cena definitely has his detractors. Thanks so much, Ken. We'll catch up with you next week.
Hey, take care, my friend.
All right, thank you. Captain Ken Fortna from Traffic Tips. He'll be giving you kind of the travel scene as we go along here. Little new segment we have here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. You can hear him here Saturday mornings at 10:25, 11:25, and 12:25. Certainly not a bad idea if you're a little late, can't get out Friday night to get to where you need to go. That's why we've got you here Saturday mornings and early afternoons here on 1490 WBCB. Taking a look, looking back at some of the Raw moments. Mike chiming in on the Facebook fan page. Who can forget all the Stone Cold moments on Raw? Favorite moment for me was the beer bath. So many memories of Raw through the years. Yeah, I think the iconic part of that, I mean, not just, taking a Budweiser truck and pulling a hose off to the side and spraying Vince, Shane, and a few other members of the corporation with beer in the middle of the ring, but just that image of Vince McMahon lying down soaked in beer and attempting to get away by doing a crawl stroke. That I think is, I don't know, you just can't help but crack up. I mean, give credit to Vince McMahon for just kind of coming up with that on the fly. that one certainly does it for a lot of people. I mean, how many different Stone Cold in a vehicle moments were there that you could certainly look back upon? I mean, Austin coming in a Zamboni during the championship presentation involving Kane and The Undertaker from '98. In a similar vein, a couple of years later, you had Kurt Angle in the milk truck as opposed to the beer truck. I mean, certainly a lot of moments in that regard. The moment for me, though, you got to go back to January 4th, 1999. That was, over on Nitro, you had the infamous finger poke of doom, but that was also the night that Mick Foley won his first World Wrestling Federation Championship as Mankind, and that involved DX kind of holding off the corporation, and just when things got insanely wild as it was, next thing you know, you hear the shattering of the glass. Out comes Austin to the biggest, loudest ovation I've ever heard, the biggest pop I had ever heard. Austin comes out, hits The Rock with a chair. Next thing you know, he drags Foley over. 1, 2, 3. Mick Foley is your new champion. I think the only thing it was missing was JR on commentary. We had Michael Cole, who did an okay job, but that was one of those moments, I'm sure, if you ask all parties involved, they'd rather have JR on it. But he was recovering from one of his bouts of Bell's palsy at that point, and we wouldn't see him for a couple of months later until he came out for the main event at WrestleMania 15 in Philadelphia. So, nice, interesting look back. We'll get more of your favorite Raw moments as we go along here. And we'll get back to the phones. We'll get to Dan, who's been waiting patiently. Dan, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
How you doing this week?
Not too bad. What's on your mind?
A couple things. First with TNA. Loved the episode, this week with the Aces of 8. Did you notice anything different about that crowd this week? It wasn't the same crowd that's usually there.
They've kind of switched it up a little bit. It's not just the same people showing up on I guess not everybody who's around on a Monday for the tapings can be around on a Thursday for a live show.
How ridiculous was it during that main event with Bobby Roode and
Austin Aries?
Austin Aries, that they were chanting, "We want T-shirts."
Yeah, that's. I've heard a lot of chants. That was certainly. Maybe they were maybe they meant to say we want Ziggler, and they were just following through from Sunday night.
It was ridiculous. I'm like, really? That just bothered me. It just seemed like a different crowd this week than previous.
Well, they're getting fresh blood in there, which means you can potentially build new fans, and
right.
We'll see, I guess, going forward how the ratings go. I mean, the DirecTV issue, I'll talk a little bit about that.
That's not even fair to discuss with that. It's not there for them with the ratings, with the DirecTV thing. Yeah,
true. I mean, they did take a hit, but I mean, it was pretty standard with what was across the board. I mean,
right.
Yeah, they took about a 15% hit in the ratings because of the DirecTV Viacom standoff, and I guess, we'll throw the update on that real quick. Of course, after a week of talks moving backwards, DirecTV owners will finally be able to watch TNA Impact Wrestling again. The satellite company and Viacom, they settled their contractual dispute. As part of the agreement, DirecTV subscribers will be able to watch Viacom networks on laptops and tablets via the DirecTV Everywhere platform. That's a different story that I didn't quite separate. But yeah, the DirecTV Everywhere, so you can check it out on your iPads or whatever tablets, as well as your laptops. So now you'll be able to get Impact again, and that should bolster the ratings back up to where they were before the dispute.
I know somebody posted on Facebook about who they think the Aces of 8 are. Well, I have another theory. Remember that gut check guy who had problems with Taz?
Yes.
They did that little angle. I think he's involved in it somehow.
Interesting. It'd be a nice way to kind of tie things around. Absolutely. I
have three ideas on this. Okay, and the other thing I think is James Storm as well. He's
James Storm
and be in it as well. I'm thinking different things here.
Yeah, I was going to say that one. I think is a little far fetched. I think whatever. Have you been sharing drinks with Rat Boy on that one?
No, he attacked. No, don't even go there.
I know. I'm just having a little fun.
I know. He attacked Kurt Angle. They attacked Kurt Angle before the matchup with James Storm, and then they attacked Bobby Roode. And he wants to be on the leaderboard for the Bound for Glory series. That was my thinking on that.
I can kind of see that, although you need wins to be able to do that. So, so attacking your opponents beforehand, or at least orchestrating that in some regard. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, you saw a storm in the ring as you saw the attack in the back of Angle. So, if he was like a leader of the group and was kind of separate, that'd be one thing. But he can't be in two places at the same time.
Well, that's what I meant. Maybe he's the leader, and my other person that I have as the leader is Jeff Jarrett.
And that was a lot of people's thought going initially, considering that the first person that they attacked was Sting, and that came right off the heels of the announcement of Sting's induction into the TNA Hall of Fame, being the inaugural member, and a lot of people thought there'd be some semblance of a storyline of Jeff Jarrett being snubbed and starting some sort of a feud with Sting. Is that still possible? Absolutely. Could there be some sort of a match at Bound for Glory between the two veterans? I wouldn't put it past them.
My wife made a comment saying that. I laughed. It was funny. It was a good comment. She's trying. That what if she's upset? What if Nick Hogan is upset that Brooke is a leader of a group, and now Nick is getting guys together to attack people to get a job?
Well, Nick Hogan, he's still, I think, got his tail tucked between his proverbial legs as far as that whole auto accident thing with his best friend, was it John Graziano or whatever it was. I don't know if he'll ever necessarily be able to live that down, and that's probably...
But don't you think he'd be mad at his dad? Like, what the heck? Like, why is Brooke able to do this and not me?
Well, I mean, if we're going to go in that direction, I mean, don't you think Shane McMahon should feel the same way, considering that, the reins are being handed over to son-in-law instead of son?
Well, he wanted out, though. That's a little different. Shane wanted out, though.
Probably because he saw the writing on the wall of, all right, here I am, the heir apparent, or at least I was, and then all of a sudden, here comes Triple H marrying my sister, and now he's getting the reins. So he kind of seeing that in advance, he probably said, you know what, forget this. I'm going to go do some global media things. And now he's got that video on demand thing with China, and I mean the country, not the former wrestler. No, you don't want any kind of video on demand with China, especially considering the adult industry thing she's doing. Scaring listeners off left and right just at the thought of that. I apologize.
But I'm digging TNA lately. I'm digging it. The only thing I don't like is Mike TNA. Are you serious? You never, he was on their post show. He claims he's never seen anything like this, and I want to throw something at my computer because, yes, you have, you idiot.
I think he went to the Tony Schiavone school of hyperbole, I think is really what the issue is. I mean, Tony Schiavone, of course, famous for pretty much every Monday on Nitro saying that this is the greatest night in the history of our sport. Yeah. So, and of course, Tenay having to sit next to him doing that international analyst kind of role, which I thought he was good at. Now, again, this could be the naive teenager in me, but I thought that Tenay did best with that, kind of going over the Mexican and the Japanese styles of wrestling and kind of going into the backgrounds as opposed to just being a full-on play-by-play commentator, which he's been doing this for almost 10 years now, and I still don't think he's quite found his niche with it. Or if he has, he needs to find a new one.
And you'd think the guys in the back would be like, maybe we should band together, because people in WCW never banded together to help help out the NWO. Maybe we should take care of this right away. And you see guys in the back, why don't they band together right out? Obviously everyone was a part of this is being real. You would think they would say, hey, let's get together and stop these guys right away so it doesn't go too far, but of course not.
Well, I know I'm going to sound a bit, a bit over-analytical with it, but it could be an extension of life in that those who fail to recognize history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. Yep.
I know, a little too... Maybe I've been spending too much time with the philosopher Chris Ermer. I don't know. It's a little bit of a profound thought here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. Who would have figured that coming from me?
But I hope come fall time that they keep this going live. I really do.
Well, again, the ratings, I think, have a lot to do with that. I mean, I hope that, that Spike TV is smart enough to realize that these DirecTV things, if they're the last couple of weeks have kind of skewed the average a little bit because 15% of your viewer base isn't able to watch. But I would imagine they're smart enough to realize that, and maybe they'll kind of give a mulligan for those couple of weeks, or maybe extend it a couple of weeks longer than they had initially planned, given that contract dispute caused a bit of issues.
Two things, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
Who cares about this AJ Styles storyline? They killed it with the fact that it wasn't Dixie Carter. Something must have happened, and they changed it because they had a golden storyline, and I don't care about this girl. I don't care the fact that, first off, last week, you see her pregnant driving in the studio, and she's got a cigarette in her hand while she's driving into the Universal Studios.
Yeah, well, that could be one of those things where, maybe that leads, and it almost sounds like Vince Russo's writing from afar. I mean, maybe you're foreshadowing a month down the road a potential miscarriage or something like that in the storyline. I don't know.
I don't care about it. I care.
But true, the TNA hasn't really given you a reason to care about Claire Lynch.
I cared more when it was Dixie Carter and AJ. I was into it. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And it's just stupid now.
Yeah, they've kind of backed off it a little bit, and they've kind of made the main focus the Bound for Glory series and the involvement of Aces and Eights. That's what this past Thursday's Impact was all about, was kind of showcasing the potential dominance of Aces and Eights. That's why there were 3 attacks over the course of the 2-hour program. Attacking Kurt Angle, attacking Sam Shaw before his gut check match, and of course attacking Bobby Roode in the main event, and pretty much killing that. Yeah,
and I want to give my Raw moment too. I have 2 Raw moments.
Go ahead.
I could give that. The night that Bret Hart went off, and they, against. He had that steel cage match. From
March of '97, I believe it was, that steel cage match. I think I played that clip earlier this year, actually.
Right. Was that planned to have that, or were they supposed to beat that? Were they supposed to beat that because they didn't beat it?
That's one thing that hasn't changed, in the last 15 years, is the sufficient timing as far as beeping things. That was an issue back then. That's still an issue now. Even going back to CM Punk's initial pipe bomb from a year ago, they were late on censoring the description of John Laurinaitis as the glad-handling D-bag yes man.
Yeah.
Of course, the full word of that. I'm pretty sure I can say it, but again, I don't want to get into trouble here. So why take that risk? But yeah, no, their censoring, was always a little off, and you could always wonder whether or not it was intentional. But yes, that particular night, they just let it go, and there were GDs and BSs and all other kind of acronyms thrown around between Bret Hart and Sid, which I don't think they meant to pick up on microphone, but.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I remember that too, where he swore to. Yeah.
That's right. I think I played that clip on air here, and I had a lot of work to do that morning to get all that bleeped out.
And my second Raw moment is when Kurt Angle, everyone's talking about the beer truck incident, when Kurt Angle returned the favor when he did the milk truck.
The milk truck, I mentioned that a little bit earlier, and that was certainly rather entertaining.
And then on their SummerSlam DVD. At the end of it, they continued Stone Cold. They had an extra, and they said Stone Cold made the line sing, that Bette Midler song. I don't know, you're my hero. I love that. When they were all doing that to him, that was great. When they were singing that song to him, it was awesome. That was like a good moment too. I love it. And then seeing Stephanie get all freaked out because the milk was on it, that was great. That was awesome.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting to say the least. All right, I'm well past when I should have taken care of some business. Thanks so much for the call, Dan. Go ahead.
Can the Phillies please score a run with Cliff Lee pitching? I'll let you go.
Can they score runs with Cliff Lee? Yes, that brief fantasy baseball moment as Cliff Lee is, of course, on Dan's fantasy baseball team. Little nod there. I don't know. The Phils need to definitely get something done for him. They're running out of time quickly, that's for sure. Maybe they'll sign Cole Hamels. Who knows? Anyway, we'll come back. We've got more news and notes. I'll read the press release lining up everything for this Monday's Raw. We've got more of your Raw moments and some Facebook feedback as well. And we got an open board, so we got room for you there as well. 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. You can also chime in on the Facebook fan page. Just look up WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.